to have a chance to complement your efforts as AU chairperson. Excellencies, throughout my leadership and service to the public, I have noted the significance of defining strategic goals and appreciating the influence of political dynamics on the outcomes of these goals. So decision-making must be backed by a balance between policy and geopolitics. I plan to work with you, Your Excellencies, to integrate this continent. You are one people who unfortunately are trying too hard to separate from each other. I have traveled the length and breadth of this beautiful continent, and I have seen the faces of Africa's future. I was involved in peace negotiations in Burundi with Marimu Nyerere. I was involved as the mediator of the AU with the conflict in Côte d'Ivoire. I was involved in Mozambique. So I understand the continent.
And I see the faces of our children, full of hope and energy, and unbound by the borders of yesterday. I dream of an Africa where those borders and colonial languages no longer divide us. We don't want to see Africans to be divided as Anglophones, Francophones, Lusophones. I want them to be Africaphones.
From the hills of Kenya to the deserts of Sahara and the Kalahari, from the lakes of Great Rift to the rainforests of Central Africa, from Indian Ocean to the Atlantic, Africans must be one. Its resilience and hope for a bright future transmitted to our young people. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, my selection to be Kenya's candidate is not about one man's ambition, but an African's journey to serve the motherland. Indeed, I plan to constitute my cabinet of chairpersons with a continental outlook. I'm grateful that friends and eminent persons across Africa have volunteered to engage in my campaigns from the West, North, South, Central, and of course, Eastern Africa. Excellencies, I'm ready to serve. My heart is ready, and my hands are steady, and with your support, I shall get the opportunity to be of service to Africa, the cradle of mankind. I am made in Eastern Africa for Africa. I have said that I'm an Afro-optimist as opposed to Afro-pessimist. Afro-pessimists are those people who have given up on Africa, who say Africa is a lost cause, a wasted continent. But Afro-optimists are those people who believe in African development, that Africa can be developed with the efforts of the African people. This is what I believe in. I have come from the school that believes in the efforts of the founding fathers of our continent, those who were visionary, who envisioned an Africa that was united. Kwame Nkrumah, Ahmed Sekou Touré, Gamal Abdel Nasser, the late Emperor Haile Selassie, Jomo Kenyatta, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, Kenneth Kaunda, Those were some of the founding fathers of our continent who believed that Africa will only develop if it is united. Nkrumah said that Africa must unite or perish. That is the school in which I'm coming. To be able to realize the dreams of the founding fathers, first we need peace on the continent. In 2013, they talked of silencing the guns. But in 2024, the guns are not silent on the continent. We will work to ensure that guns are silent so that we can be able to have a peaceful development. Secondly, Africa is a victim of climate change. Africa today suffers from twin disasters: droughts and floods on the continent. Yet Africa has emitted very little of the carbon that is polluting the world. So Africa needs to be compensated. But this will not come if Africa goes to negotiate as individual countries. If you go and talk as Kenya, as Uganda, Tanzania, Nigeria, Mozambique, Egypt, or Algeria, the rest, those major offenders will not listen to us. But when we go and talk as Africa, they must listen to us. We'll be able to get a fair deal in the issue of climate change. We also need to green Africa. But you know, Africa is also home to the second largest carbon sink in the world, the Congo forest. But how do we continue to green Africa, to arrest desertification, southern advance of the Sahara Desert? These are issues, they are challenges which we are equal to. We can be able to deal with these issues effectively if you have got an effective organization in Addis Ababa. African youth today drown in the Mediterranean, trying to get to greener pastures in Europe. It's a shame. We must arrest this trend and ensure that we create a conducive environment within the continent here. That this youth will not have to flee to go to Europe. And this will only happen if Africa works together as a united continent. We know that Africa is one of the richest continents on planet Earth. It is a paradox. The richest continent is also the poorest in terms of living conditions of its people. This we must put to rest. We should not continue to blame those other people who have exploited the continent. We have the ability to reverse this trend and get Africa moving forward again. Therefore, we need to be able to ensure that Africa uses the resources that it has effectively. We need also to ensure that Africa also trades with itself. Africa is wasting a lot of time searching for markets where they put very unequal terms to our goods coming from Africa. The inter-African trade today stands at only 15%. Inter-European trade stands at 70%. Inter-Asian trade stands at 60%. Even inter-South American trade stands at 35%. We need to ensure that Africa trades more with itself. We need to address the constraining factors. One, the non-tariff barriers which have been imposed by other African countries against goods from neighboring countries. More importantly, we need to address the issue of infrastructure development in the continent that will make it easier for African countries to trade with each other. I have been the High Representative of African Union on the issue of infrastructure. So I know the major challenges that Africa faces in the issue of infrastructure. The Trans-African highways, the Cape to Cairo, the Tunis to Cape, the Dakar through Khartoum to Djibouti, the Dakar, Lagos to Mombasa, the Beira to Lobito and Walvis Bay, the high-speed railway networks in the continent, those are issues that require to be dealt with. The LAPSET, the Lamu Port, South Sudan, Ethiopia, that will continue through Bangui and go all the way to the Cameroon port of Kribi, creating a land bridge that links the Atlantic Ocean and Indian Ocean and opening up the interior landlocked countries within the continent. These are some of the issues that can be dealt with and will deal with. Then connecting Africa through high-speed fiber optic network. And then to facilitate faster communication. Then the issues of air transport. Air transport is a major challenge in the continent. We were talking about open skies to make air transport easier. Today, traveling across the continent is too expensive. You have to get permits to fly over countries, delaying movements, and make it too expensive. Flying over Europe is much easier than flying over Africa. We need to have a continental air control system within the continent so that people can travel from east to west, north to south without a problem. The other one is the issues of visas. My friend Aliko Dangote says that for him to travel across the continent, he needs 35 visas. His French competitor does not need a visa to travel with a French passport in Africa. What a shame. In Europe, you only need a Schengen visa, and you can travel across the entire Europe without a problem. We will also ensure that we reach a stage where we can issue an AU visa and enable people to travel across the continent without much of a problem. I therefore want to conclude by saying that I am ready for Africa. And I believe in the story of the African lion. The lion is an African animal. It's the king of the jungle. The Cameroonian national soccer team is called the Indomitable Lions. The soccer team of Senegal is called the Lions of Teranga. The soccer team of Morocco is called the Atlas Lions. Here in Eastern Africa, we call it the Simba. The king of the jungle. When the king roars, the jungle listens. So our story of the African lion. The African lion is giving a message to the Asian tiger. Tiger is the Asian animal. And I want my Asian friends here not to take offense. The African lion is giving a message to the Asian tiger that you Asian tiger, you've danced on the stage alone for far too long. It's your time to quit. The European bear retreated to the North Pole long time ago and is freezing there in the ice. The American panther is also on the retreat. But I'm here as the African lion. I've been asleep in the jungles of the Congo, but now I'm awake and I'm sitting on African gold, African oil, African diamonds, African iron and copper ores. I'm sitting on African bauxite. I'm sitting on African lithium and coltan and uranium. And I have the ability to transform all these materials that I have into wealth for the benefit of my people and claim the 21st century as an African century. End of the message from African Lion. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. You can be seated. Indeed, that's a very powerful message about the African lion. Your Excellency, let me give very special recognition to the ambassadors from the Middle East, the Gulf states. Please be upstanding. Thank you so much for being present with us. Let me also acknowledge that we have the Speaker of the Senate with us in our midst. Now it is my pleasure and honor to invite His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, to make some few remarks and invite His Excellency President William Ruto to take up from there.
Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, Your Excellencies, Heads of States and Government present, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners and members of the Diplomatic Corps, Heads of Delegations, Members of Parliament and all dignitaries present, good morning. Your Excellency, let me say this is a great moment for our country. What a day, what a moment. We are here, Your Excellency, as a country to unveil Kenya's finest to go and lead Africa. It's a proud moment for this country. And I want to say, Your Excellency, the people of Kenya have been united to a man by the candidature of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to be the chairperson of the African Union Commission. This is a quest that has brought pride to our nation. And I would like to tell the leaders here from Africa and the representatives that as a country, as we present the Honorable Raila Odinga to be our candidate, it is because Africa, our motherland, deserves the best. the passion and zeal of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga in Pan-Africanism is well documented. Passion knows no age, knows no limit. In the person of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, he'll join the ranks of Jomo Kenyatta and Kwame Nkrumah in pushing the agenda for Africa. I therefore want to say, Your Excellency, the lessons of today are that Raila Odinga, the Right Honorable, is a man of great resilience, endurance, and perseverance. Today, you are going to unveil the transformation of the Right Honorable Odinga from a national leader to an African statesman. And for us in leadership, we have learned great lessons of resilience, endurance, and perseverance. Somebody may ask, why is Rigathi Gachagua, who has before had issues with the leadership of Raila Odinga? As a truthful man, I had nothing against him. It's only that we were competing for the same position between him and my boss. Now that he is going for a bigger seat in Africa, all of us, from the President, I, and the rest of Kenya, are behind him. And the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, as a man who listens to the ground, let me confirm to you, I've listened to the ground, and all Kenyans across the political divide, across communities, are in support of your candidature, and we wish you well. Before I call Your Excellency, let me acknowledge the place of family, not just in our lives, but in leadership. I think it is a great moment for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. It's appropriate that I acknowledge on behalf of the country the role Mama Ida Odinga has played in the life of this great son of this land. Mama Ida Odinga, we salute you as a country for having been a very strong pillar to your husband in very difficult times, and his lowest moments, you have always been there for him. We ask families to support their spouses. So Mama Ida Odinga, as we wish you happy birthday, it is my hope and prayer that your next birthday will be celebrated at Addis next year. And if you invite President William Ruto to come and he's not able to come, Mr. President, I'll be very happy for you to send me to represent you in that great birthday. We therefore want to say, as a country, this is a great moment. And Right Honorable Odinga, I have noted with a lot of appreciation, my wife, Pastor Dorcas, who is a very prayerful woman, has been praying for me and the President daily. And I noted from yesterday she has added you in her prayer. And because her prayers work, we have no doubt that you will get this seat. Mr. President, it is now my honor to request you to come and anchor Kenya's finest and embark on the journey of transformation of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga from a national leader to a great African statesman. President William Ruto, please come.
Thank you very much. Please, let's take our seats. Your Excellency, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Great Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency, our Chair of the East African Community, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President of South Sudan, Your Excellency, my elder sister Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Your Excellency, Lieutenant General Gavis Ndirakubosha, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Burundi, Your Excellency Jakaya Kikwete, former President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Your Excellency Baba Olusegun Obasanjo, former President of the Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency retired General James Kabarebe, Minister for State for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Rwanda, ambassadors, high commissioners, heads of delegations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to have this opportunity to extend, on behalf of the people of Kenya, a warm welcome to each and every one of you, and to thank you for making time out of your busy schedules to attend this historic event. We do not take it for granted that you found time to come. On the contrary, your visit honors our nation greatly. It is therefore an immense privilege to host all of you as we assemble in Nairobi to announce Kenya's nomination of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga'S Auc as candidate for the position of chairperson of the Africa Union Commission. Your Excellencies, our meeting today underscores our shared commitment to regional solidarity and integration in East Africa and our determination to mobilize effective collective action for the benefit of the citizens of our countries and the entire African continent. Our East African region, which is home to more than 500 million people, rightly considers this moment to be its turn to offer leadership on the basis of the principle of inter-regional rotation. I am encouraged by the fact that more than ever, our region's leadership is alive to the complexity and dynamism of the challenges which form the regional and broader international context of our Pan-African moment. These challenges range from political instability and associated governance issues, conflict and insecurity together with related humanitarian tragedies, cross-border and international crime, including various forms of illegal trafficking in drugs, arms, and persons. Others include climate change, whose effects have trapped many countries in the difficult place between extreme drought on one hand and devastating floods on another. Equally encouraging is our firm shared understanding that this context is incomplete if we do not pay attention to the global implications of an African continent that is undeniably on the rise, powered by an unprecedented demographic dividend and equally incomparable endowment of natural resources, including critical minerals and renewable energy potential, which are vital for a future that is going to be underpinned by sustainable green growth. Our Pan-African moment, ladies and gentlemen, must be defined by the transformation of our collective capacity to solve our various crises and turn our potential into engines of sustainable growth and inclusive prosperity for present and future generations. In other words, the time has come for Africa to radically recalibrate its institutions to effectively facilitate growth and development across a broad range of spheres, thereby enlarging the field of possibilities of our nations and also our peoples. To seize this moment, we need an African Union that can coordinate, oversee, and drive important continental agenda in a manner that brings Agenda 2063 onto the fastest delivery track. This will be an AU that is empowered with adequate diplomatic, security, governance, financial, technological, and even ecological leadership, and a management capacity to steer us rapidly beyond the sustainable development goals to Africa that we all want for the benefit of every nation and every African citizen. The feeling that Africa is ripe for this historic moment of radical transformation is shared by all our people and all our friends. Nothing stops us from moving into the necessary gear to claim our destiny, and this is why institutional reforms at the African Union are fundamentally essential. This understanding of the monumental possibilities before us and the urgency of our historic moment was underscored here in Nairobi when, at the close of the inaugural Africa Climate Summit, the continent's leaders announced a new transformative agenda under the Africa Leaders Nairobi Declaration on Climate Change and call to action. Among many significant pronouncements, the Nairobi Declaration emphasized the imperative of just, inclusive, equitable, and fair multilateral institutional architecture as a fundamental prerequisite for us to transform our immense potential into inclusive opportunities and sustainable prosperity for all of us. Fellow African leaders agreed at the summit that this would be by enabling our continent to industrialize for the world while also decarbonizing it using our abundant human, mineral, energy, and natural resources. The Honorable Raila Odinga has spoken extensively on the same. To actualize this ambition, the transformation must begin here at home, in our continental institutions. Africa must aim at greater self-reliance and a more pronounced role in global governance. For this to happen, reliable and predictable resources to implement the African Union goals of sustainable development and deeper integration are necessary. To this end, I want to promise Kenya is firmly committed to upholding the Kigali decision and will remain a strong contributor to the AU budget as a pioneer in implementing the 0.2% levy on eligible imports. The evolving global landscape requires us to discard outdated principles, practices, and institutional arrangements in order to embrace new opportunities. It is a fact that our continent is now a significant global player, and we must leverage this enhanced profile to our advantage. The success of our transformation will be measured in terms of the relevance and effectiveness of our policies in transforming Africa from the ground up. Moreover, to give all our people and nations a fair chance to seize emerging opportunities, the task of addressing the persistent problems of state fragility and forgotten conflicts while boosting humanitarian efforts must further escalate significantly as a critical priority for all of us. Accordingly, Kenya has committed significant resources to processes aimed at achievement of peace and stability in our region, including in Sudan and also in Somalia. The complicated challenges arising from the prevailing geopolitical environment, including the impacts of war in Middle East and Eastern Europe, and the growing threats to cybersecurity at a time when humanity is increasingly reliant on technology and connectivity, which have intensified the dynamism and complexity of the operating environment of our institutions and require a flexible approach to technology and security. These are interventions that require leadership. Our commitment to strengthening multilateralism from regional to global levels remain steadfast. Kenya has already stepped up to enhance its contribution to Africa's development by championing institutional reform at the Africa Union. We believe that offering a highly qualified, experienced, and competent candidate to lead the Africa Union Commission is perfectly consistent with our commitment to the transformation of our continent through our institution of Pan-African unity. The Honorable Raila Odinga is a celebrated statesman whose longevity in leadership has been sustained by an unrelenting devotion to democratic change as the foundation of sustainable freedom and prosperity. Kenya has benefited from progress both on the broad stage of national governance as well as the evolution of specific sectors that are attributable to reforms championed by the Patriotic League of indomitable visionaries, among them the Honorable Raila Odinga. I want to say the Honorable Raila Odinga possesses the professional capacity and experience, a proven track record of transformative leadership, and a wide experience of accomplishments at the national and regional levels. Furthermore, the Honorable Raila Odinga enjoys a sterling reputation as a zealous Pan-African who has consistently demonstrated a strong faith in Africa's possibilities and exemplary commitment to the cause of laying a robust foundation for Africa's transformation in our time. Therefore, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I know that Honorable Raila not only possesses the requisite credentials, but he is also the ideal candidate to lead the Africa Union Commission. Accordingly, Kenya endorses his candidature unreservedly, and we commit wholeheartedly to support his candidature, his vision, and his leadership. He embodies extensive experience and a deep understanding of both African affairs and global dynamics, which are crucial for leading the Africa Union further into the center of global affairs and closer to the hearts of the African people. Excellencies, I present to you a visionary Pan-African, a bold and wise leader, a professional and technocrat, as well as a towering statesman and a veteran mobilizer for positive change. I am confident that he will give his utmost and do all it takes to make Africa proud and Africa powerful. I think the lion's story is apt. To assist in making the case for Honorable Odinga's candidature, I also unveil the Secretariat, which will be led by Kenya's Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary, Horisingwe, and Ambassador Elkanah Odembo. It will also include a diverse membership drawn from 5 regions of the Africa Union. The assignment we are called upon to undertake at the Africa Union Commission is the work of all Africans, for all Africans, and a noble cause to bring our peoples and nations in touch with the promise of the glorious future we all deserve. A new chapter in our common journey has begun. We shall travel on this road to freedom and democracy, stability and security, peace and prosperity with all our people, all our leaders, governments, and with all our partners throughout the world. And I'm happy that the global community is represented here by our ambassadors. We take this assignment very seriously, and we have entrusted it to our most capable steward. On behalf of the people of Kenya, I wish the Honorable Raila Odinga success as he makes his case to be elected as the chairperson of Africa Union Commission. I am highly indebted to each and every one of you, heads of state, leaders of delegation, and friends, for taking part in this historic event for Kenya, for East Africa, and it's my prayer that the Honorable Raila Odinga will be elected the chair of the Africa Union Commission. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless our East African region, and God bless our continent, Africa. Now it's my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to request a few people to make some remarks. And then I will ask my colleagues, heads of state, to make their remarks as well. Let me ask, by way of beginning, General Retired James Kabarebe from Rwanda to come and make very brief remarks. Welcome, my friend. You can come and make it here.
Your Excellency, President William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored on behalf of Rwanda, representing President Kagame, to be here today in Nairobi to witness the official launch of Honorable Raila Odinga's campaign for the chairmanship of the African Union Commission. My sincere thanks to His Excellency President William Ruto for inviting Rwanda to witness this gracious occasion. As we gather here today, it is essential to reflect on the significance of the African Union Commission. The African Union Commission is the engine of our collective efforts to drive Africa towards unity, peace, and prosperity. The chairperson of this vital body must be somebody with a deep understanding of the complexities of our continent and the ability to steer us through the challenges we face in the 21st century. Today, we stand at a pivotal moment in Africa's journey towards greater unity, prosperity, and global footprint. It is therefore with immense pride and confidence that we gather here to launch the campaign of a leader whose name is synonymous with the relentless pursuit of democracy, development, and the African spirit, that is Raila Odinga. Honorable Raila Odinga is a name that resonates not only within Kenya, but across the African continent. His contributions to the struggle for democracy, the development in Kenya are well known, and his influence extends far beyond his country's borders. Honorable Raila has demonstrated time and again that he possesses the wisdom, experience, the leadership necessary to bring about the transformation that Africa needs. His commitment to the African cause, his relentless pursuit of justice, and his deep sense of responsibility to the people make him an ideal candidate for this role. As we launch this campaign, I call upon all African leaders and the citizens to support a candidate whose Pan-African credentials are not in doubt, and ensure that the African Union Commission is led by someone who is champion of the interests of all Africans to foster unity and to work tirelessly to achieve the goals we have set for ourselves as a continent. Africa deserves a leader who can bridge divides, foster cooperation, and ensure that the African Union remains a strong and united force on the global stage. Raila Odinga has demonstrated time and again that he is capable of bringing people together, of driving forward the agenda of development, and of standing firm in the face of adversity. His leadership is what Africa needs at this critical time. Let us show the world that Africa is ready to take its destiny into its own hands, to speak with one voice, and to work together for a betterment of all our people by electing Honorable Raila Odinga as chairman of the African Union Commission. We will be making a powerful statement about our commitment to a stronger, more cohesive, and more prosperous Africa. Together, we can make African Union stronger, more united, more responsive to the needs of our people. In conclusion, let us remember that the success of this campaign is not just for Honorable Raila's success, it's Africa's success. It is the success of every African who dreams for a better future, of a continent that is united in purpose and strong in its resolve. Thank you so much, and may God bless Africa.
Thank you very much, Minister, for that statement. Let me now request Baba, the Honorable Olusegun Obasanjo, the former President of Nigeria, to make a few comments.
I am not as short as you think I am. Your Excellency, President William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, President Museveni, the doyen of East Africa, and the President of Republic of Uganda. My sister, Your Excellency, the President of Tanzania, Madam Samia Suluhu Hassan, Your Excellency, President Salva Kiir, the Chair of East African Community, and the President of South Sudan. My dear colleague, General representing the President of Burundi, and my dear colleague, General representing the President of Rwanda. Prime Minister Raila Odinga'S, my friend, my brother, and my dear sister, Mrs. Odinga'S. My dear colleague, President Kikwete, when you came in this morning, you wanted to sit where there was a flag. And I said to you, you and I are now men without flag. Distinguished diplomats, distinguished brothers and sisters from Africa, distinguished friends of Africa, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. President Ruto, I want to thank you and salute you, because what we are doing today is unprecedented. We've never had occasion like this, where we had a candidate, and the candidate is giving so much support at home, like you have given Raila. And not only that, not just making him a candidate of Kenya, but a candidate of East African community. From what you have said and what Raila himself has said, we need a person at this critical stage of our development in Africa, but at this situation, the present situation of the world, where we have a fractured world, a world ridden with conflict and wars. Some experts said we now have 57 wars going on in the world. A situation where war is going on in Europe, and we are suffering from hunger in Africa. A situation of insecurity, instability, unpredictability. And instead of common security and shared responsibility and shared prosperity, we are wallowing in poverty. And we cannot get out of this unless we put our house in order and we do what we have to do individually, as countries in Africa, and collectively as a continent. Prime Minister Raila said we will have AU visa. I'm waiting for it. And I will never stop asking you for it when you get there. And the reason is this. On a few occasions, I've been invited to countries in Africa, and I couldn't attend or answer the invitation because I couldn't get visa for the country that invited me. And as you rightly said, 35 visas to go through Africa. And some of these visas, it takes weeks before you get them. So if you are trying to get 35 visas to visit countries in Africa, it will take you a year. That is not the way that we can make progress. But more importantly, and I know you, all that President Ruto has said about you, I will only put it in one word or describe or add to it in one word, just to say, I concur. Because I know you. And as I said yesterday, knowing you has been a blessing. And I don't know whether I should also say the other part of it here. Because by knowing you as far back as the beginning of 1990s, you made me to come here in 1995 to go to Kisumu where we were yesterday. And I was part of that last honor we did to Raila Odinga'S. When I returned home in Nigeria, I was accused of coming to Kenya to join the opposition to topple the government of Kenya. And I was also accused of planning coup in Nigeria that landed me in prison. So your invitation for me to come to Kenya in 1995, am I not keeping my mouth shut when I got back home, landed me in jail. So knowing you have been a blessing, because if I haven't gone to jail, maybe I wouldn't have become president of Nigeria. That President Ruto said you will be making Africa proud and powerful. You are right, Mr. President. You will do more than that. You will make Africa proud. You will make Africa powerful. You will make Africa peaceful. And you will make Africa prosperous. We need it all. But you can count on our support, and you have seen it here. But what is going on today here also means extra responsibility on you and extra responsibility on us. Because if we have supported you and you get there, we have responsibility to make sure you succeed. We will do our part. We pray that God will make you do your part. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Baba. Let me, because you concurred with me, let me also concur with you. And that you have put it better than I did. And my good friend, the Honorable Raila Odinga, now the phrase is, you make Africa proud, powerful, peaceful, and prosperous, as Baba has put it. Let me also, I don't want my brother, my senior brother, Jakaya Kikwete, in trouble. When he walked into the room, he didn't want to sit where the flag was. In fact, he is the one who said, where do I sit? There are so many flags here. And he sat where there was no flag. But when I tried to ask him, so how is Tanzania? He told me I'm not the right person to answer that question. Wait for the person who is coming to sit next to this flag. She will tell you how Tanzania is. So that is the humility of Jakaya Kikwete. And let me ask you, former President Jakaya, to make some very brief remarks, if you can. I know the remarks for Tanzania will be met by somebody else.
Your Excellency President William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government present, my senior brother Raila Odinga, and your beautiful wife. Well, I've been asked to say something, but I'm part of my president's delegation. She is going to speak on behalf of Tanzanians. That also includes me. So all that I can say today is thank you for the invitation. I felt greatly honored, but more importantly, congratulations, my dear brother Raila, for being nominated by your country, by your president, supporting your candidature. All I can say is I wish you the very best, and I'm sure if you get that position, Africa will get the best. With those many words, thank you.
Now you confirm what I said. Let me take this opportunity to ask the Prime Minister of Burundi, General Gavais Ndirakubosha, to make some remarks. Karibu.
I'm very sorry because I wanted to speak in French. Okay, thank you. Excellence, Monsieur William Samuel Ruto, Président de la République du Kenya.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto.
Excellences, Mesdames, Messieurs les chefs d'État ici présents.
Excellencies, Heads of State present.
Excellences, Messieurs les chefs de gouvernement ici présents.
Excellencies, Heads of State and Government as well.
Monsieur Raila Odinga'S, candidat à la présidence de la Commission de l'Union africaine.
Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, candidate of the African Union Chairperson.
Distingués invités, tout protocole observé.
Distinguished guests and esteemed guests.
Permettez-moi d'abord, avant tout, de remercier l'Éternel, notre Dieu Tout-Puissant, qui nous a permis de nous retrouver dans cette belle place de la présidence de la République du Kenya.
Permit me, Excellency, in the name of our Lord, to thank you for allowing me to be here in your beautiful country.
Que son nom soit loué. C'est pour moi un réel plaisir d'être ici devant cette auguste assemblée à l'occasion de l'annonce officielle de la candidature de l'honorable Raila Odinga'S à la présidence de l'Union africaine.
It is a great pleasure for me, Your Excellency, to be here in this occasion of the launching of the candidature of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga for the African Union Commission Chairperson.
Je salue également l'accueil et l'hospitalité qui ont été réservés à la délégation burundaise.
I also thank you, Your Excellency, for the warm welcome and hospitality that I have received, as well as my Burundian delegation.
Au nom de Son Excellence le Président de la République du Burundi, que je représente dans ces cérémonies et à mon nom propre, je remercie Son Excellence William Samuel Ruto, Président de la République du Kenya, pour l'invitation qui a été réservée à notre pays.
In the name of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Burundi, who I represent today in this ceremony, and on my own behalf, I would like to thank His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, for this invitation that was accorded to my country.
Excellence, Monsieur le Président, le peuple burundais et kenyan sont des peuples frères. Nous avons des relations de fraternité et de coopération de longue date.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, the Burundian people and the Kenyan people are a brotherly nation. We have relations of fraternal and cooperation.
Le Burundi ne peut rester insensible quant à l'invitation en provenance d'un pays frère comme le Kenya.
Burundi could not resist this invitation in the name of our brother Kenya.
C'est cette raison que suite au conflit d'agenda que le chef de l'État burundais, qui avait voulu prendre part personnellement à ces événements, m'a envoyé pour le représenter, transmettre ses salutations les plus cordiales et chaleureuses à vos excellences, Monsieur le Président de la République du Kenya, et à tout le peuple kenyan.
And it is for this exact reason, Your Excellency, that the head of state of Burundi sent me personally to convey his greetings, his warm salutations to Your Excellency the President and to the entire Republic of Kenya.
Depuis très longtemps, nos ancêtres, je suis sûr et certain que nos populations faisaient des échanges avec des mouvements de va-et-vient de part et d'autre. C'est-à-dire que les Burundais allaient au Kenya et les Kenyans visitaient le Burundi depuis très longue date.
Our long-time relations, Your Excellency, have enabled our populations and our people to have certain exchanges, movement from one country to another, and it is for that reason that Burundians visit Kenya and Kenyans visit Burundi as well.
Aujourd'hui, ces relations se sont fortement renforcées avec l'élimination de certaines barrières et l'ouverture régionale. Nos deux pays sont des partenaires fiables dans beaucoup de domaines de la vie et ont signé beaucoup d'accords de coopération et nous sommes liés par un destin commun au sein de de la très prestigieuse communauté des pays de l'Afrique de l'Est.
Today, Your Excellency, our relations have been reinforced with elimination of certain barriers that have allowed our movement in the region. Our two countries have partnered in many domains and have signaled a lot of cooperation between each other, and that will give us a common destiny and a prestigious community that is of the East Africa community.
Excellences, Monsieur le Président du Kenya, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les chefs d'État, distingués invités, le peuple kenyan est un peuple brave et courageux, avec une histoire glorieuse dans la lutte pour la dignité de l'homme africain. En témoignent différentes initiatives en matière de la recherche de la paix et de l'entente entre les peuples en Afrique et dans le monde.
Excellency, Mr. President, the Kenyan people are a brave and courageous people with a glorious history, with dignity, with human dignity, different initiatives, especially in the field of research and also in the aspect of peace.
C'est pourquoi on ne s'étonne pas de voir parmi vous quelqu'un qui aspire à jouer un rôle clé au sein de la plus grande instance panafricaine. Nous savons bien que le candidat honorable Raila Odinga a les aptitudes et le profil qu'il faut pour remplir sa tâche en tant que président de la Commission de l'Union africaine.
We are all aware, Your Excellency, that the candidate today, Right Honorable Odinga, has a high profile. He's a Pan-Africanist and has all the qualities that it takes to become the president of the African Union Commission.
Le gouvernement kenyan ne s'est pas trompé en le soutenant par cette annonce officielle et solennelle de cette journée du 27 août 2024.
And that is why the government of Kenya today has decided to launch this official announcement of his candidature on this day, 27th August 2024.
Nous ne pouvons pas néanmoins passer sous silence que M. Raila Odinga aura nécessairement en face de lui d'autres candidats de taille dans le respect du principe de rotation.
We are all aware that Mr. Raila Odinga has gone through a lot and is in respect and has the respect of the entire continent.
Face à cette campagne qui débute, le Burundi souhaite prendre succès au candidat du Kenya à la personne de Raila Odinga pour toutes les démarches qui seront entreprises avant le mois de février 2025, où les élections se feront à la présidence de la Commission et des différents postes de commissaires.
As he continues with his campaign, Burundi wishes the candidate of Kenya, Right Honorable Amolo Odinga, all the best in his campaign and also in the elections that are to happen in the month of February 2025.
Nous ne doutons pas que M. Raila Odinga serait choisi pour présider aux destinées de notre continent. Il permettra d'atteindre la vision de l'Union africaine qui est celle d'une Afrique intégrée, prospère et pacifique, dirigée par ses propres citoyens et représentant une force dynamique sur la scène mondiale et la réalisation de l'agenda 2063.
We as Burundi have no doubt that Right Honorable Raila Odinga will preside over the destiny of our continent. He has the vision of the African Union, which is an integrated Africa, a prosperous Africa, a Pacific Africa, one that is led by proper citizens and represented by a dynamic force.
Pour terminer, Excellence, Monsieur le Président de la République du Kenya, je voudrais vous transmettre la silence de Son Excellence Evariste Ndayishimiye, Président de la République du Burundi, et du peuple burundais, que le Burundi soutient entièrement la candidate de l'honorable Raila Odinga au poste de président de la Commission de l'Union africaine, en guise de reconnaissance des liens particuliers d'amitié qui unissent nos deux peuples et du sentiment d'appartenance à une même communauté de l'Afrique de l'Est, qui nous demande d'être un seul peuple et un seul destin.
As I conclude, Your Excellency, Mr. President of the Republic of Kenya, I would like to convey the assurances of His Excellency Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi, as well as the Burundian people, that Burundi is entirely behind the candidature of Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga for the post of the President of the Commission of the African Union.
Je voudrais encore une fois remercier le Président de la République du Kenya, William Samuel Ruto, et de tout le peuple Kenya pour l'accueil et l'hospitalité qui m'ont été réservés ainsi qu'à toute ma délégation.
I reiterate once again my thank you, His Excellency Mr. President of the Republic of Kenya, and also the Kenyan people for the warm accord and hospitality that I have received, as well as my delegation.
Je souhaite également ainsi bonne chance au candidat honorable Raila Odinga, que Dieu l'aide à aller toujours de l'avant et jusqu'au bout.
I would also like to wish Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga all the best as he continues with this journey, and that the Lord will go before you.
Que vive la fraternité, l'entente et la coopération mutuelle entre les peuples africains. Que vive l'amitié entre le peuple Kenya et Burundi. Je vous remercie.
To the fraternity and cooperation, mutual cooperation of our African people, to the friendship between the Kenyan people and the Burundian people, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. Let me also take this opportunity. I had sent an invitation to the President of Somalia, and he had confirmed, but yesterday he made a call to me that because of issues that went beyond his control, he didn't manage to come today, but he sends his apologies. Let me take this opportunity now to invite my elder sister, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the Republic of Tanzania, our neighbors. Karibu sana, Mheshimiwa.
Your Excellency, Dr. William Samuel Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Excellencies, heads of state and government here present, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, our candidature, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank Your Excellency President Ruto for the invitation and for the exceptional hospitality accorded to me and my delegation. As you may know, back in Tanzania, they fondly refer to me as Mama. So it gives me added pleasure to be at this event in support of the great statesman of Kenya, fondly referred as Baba, who is my kaka. Excellencies, when we were establishing the African Union in 2002, Africa recalled the heroic struggle waged by its people and respective countries for political independence, human dignity, and economic emancipation. This collective recollection of the sacrifices by our forefathers remains the bedrock of which rests our shared ambition of the African Union. It is heartening to see the progress made by the AU since then, including advances in implementing Agenda 2063, rolling out of the African Continental Free Trade Area to enhance intra-African trade, and our Union's achievement of G20 membership, marking a significant step in Africa's global representation. Excellencies, despite the progress made, it is incumbent upon us to ensure that the AU remains firmly united and able to meet the noble goals we have set. In doing so, a number of aspects must be addressed. Topmost is completing the institutional reforms aimed at enhancing accountability. Related to this is strengthening the Union's capacity to silence the guns on our continent. In the same vein, the AU needs to drive Africa's development agenda by ensuring realization of its infrastructure development plans and connectivity. Globally, we must ensure that our voice, Africa's voice, heard loud and clear in global conversations. From climate change to a just energy transition, from development cooperation to fair trade, and from development of international law on artificial intelligence to global governance. It is with all this in mind that the government of the United Republic of Tanzania endorses the candidature of Right Honorable I'll repeat. It is with all this in mind that the government of the United Republic of Tanzania endorses the candidature of Right Honorable Raila Odinga'S Auc for the position of chairperson of the African Union Commission. Tanzania knows Odinga as Pan-Africanist leader who believes not only in the promise of African integration, but also in its practicality. He has maintained close relations with successive generations in Tanzanian leaders, as well as with many African leaders and partners who hold him in high esteem. He is well versed with the development concerns of our continent. It is based on his breadth of experience that he was charged with expediting Africa's integration through infrastructure development. Engineer Odinga knows full well what our union needs to do to meet the infrastructure development gaps critical to unlocking Africa's potentials. Personally, I know Baba Odinga, my kaka, not only as a wise statesman, but also as one who can make a strong case in advancing Africa's development priorities. As such, we firmly believe that he has what it takes to transform the vision of the Assembly into tangible outcomes for our people. Excellencies, with Right Honorable Raila Odinga, we envision an African Union that is ever strong, that is championing Africa's socio-economic development, and that ensures Africa's voice takes center stage globally. It is by attaining these aims that we will honor our people's heroic struggle for political independence, human dignity, and economic emancipation. It is on this note that the United Republic of Tanzania assures the Republic of Kenya of its full support for the candidature of Right Honorable Raila Odinga for the position of African Union Commission chairperson, and Tanzania says, Baba anatosha, achaguliwe. Asante sana.
Asante sana, Mheshimiwa Rais. I will not pretend to speak any Kiswahili in front of you. Naweza kujiingiza kwa matata. Let me now take this opportunity to request His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, President of the Republic of South Sudan and Chair of the East African Community. Your Excellency.
Your Excellency William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, heads of states and governments present, members of diplomatic corps, honorable members in the House, ladies and gentlemen,